This is the build of my cabin in Alaska. I don't have any actual video. This is before I was doing video, so I just have a bunch of pictures here, and I figure I'll just do a voiceover and explain what's going on. So here we're all loaded up to go out and inspect the area, or the plot, because I haven't really seen it yet. This is just kind of general views of the property I bought. Finding a good spot to put the cabin. After we found a good spot on the property, went ahead and started clearing brush and trees out of the way, and then dug the peat out so we had good solid ground for the cribs to set the cabin on. It's a load of 100 railroad ties that we're going to use for cribs to set the cabin on. Got them all cut in half here to fit in the Ranger. That's after getting them all hauled out. Now here we've got the cribs all stacked up with the rough, we'll have to grade it out better level when we get the posts on it, but that's the general idea of what's going to be. Just a nice panoramic view. This is going to be the pit for the outhouse. Another panoramic. Got some nice general view of what's going on in pictures. Now here we've got the DR backhoe I used to dig the pit for the outhouse. Then just the barrel down in there. It'll actually drain out through. This is like pre-built walls for the outhouse. So here we're putting the floor in on the cribs for the outhouse / shed. And then there's the pre-built walls we had at the house. And then just the seating spot. View out the doorway. Just kind of see I got some leftover scrap wood for cheap from people, and that's what I did for the sidings. It's kind of view going on the trail, getting out there and back. Now heading out to put the roof on the outhouse / shed. Got a little bit of first snow of the year out there. Just kind of view around. Used some cedar and built that for it. Be a little nice to sit on. I actually got the door on. Getting the roof all finished up, and it's just leftover tin from other people's projects on the roof for that too. Here we're hauling some of the heavier stuff out in the winter. It's a lot easier to get it out there than going over bogs. It's a gas fireplace. Want to put in the cabin. It's figured to be better because you can just leave it running all day. Don't got to worry about filling it with wood or anything. Those are bunks / shelves to store stuff. Bunks for snow machining. And that's got the stove in the outhouse. I built this trailer to haul the log cabin kit out there. It's 12 foot long and 4 foot wide, and there's hauled the roofing out on the right side there, and then a bunch of insulation. That's just a neighbor's outhouse with the snow that's sitting on at the time. This is me and my buddy were hanging out in it and doing some work, sleeping on the bunks there. Here we've got the first load of the cabin kit. There's going to be 3 loads to get out there, and just freighting it out a little bit at a time on the old wide track and the sled there. It's about 30,000 pounds worth of logs and rough cut 2x8s and 6s and 1x's and everything. There's second load. That's part of the kit. Just getting it all slowly moved out there, bigger and bigger piles of wood. The last load here, we actually took the windows out and dug the hole down and set the sled down in the hole, so when the snow melted out, it didn't fall over or tip. This is putting a trench in for the electrical for the generator to run from the outhouse to the cabin, so it's not sitting at the cabin making noise. And then getting the main beams in, leveled out. Getting the floor all in. And that's got the deck boards on there, and the rest are the porch boards. And then now we've got the first layer down in the plywood, and this is where we start out when my buddy came out and helped. And then 4 days we went from this until I got the walls all the way up. The 4x4s to help keep the walls straight as you go up. Just using timber locks. Screw them all together with sill seal in between the logs. Just working. I think it's about where we got at the end of the first day. And this was second or third day, I can't remember, several years ago, but it was going up pretty quick. I think it was the second, and then the third day is will be coming up next, where we actually started getting the loft floor in. There's the timber locks I was talking about earlier. And we got both the lofts in, the walls still going up. It's got a 3 foot. I think we actually got up to 3.5 because of how we left gaps for the bigger windows on the pony walls. Buddy had to go back to work, but me and the kids and got the old lady got the gables, I guess you call them. I don't know. I'm not in construction. Put together and put up the windows in them. And then we continued on with getting the roof joists in and putting the purlings on it. If I had to do it again, I'd just put plywood on it instead of purlings. It makes a lot nice, tighter seal and less things to have to block off to keep the squirrels out. But it's true on the trees we cut down to clear the area. It had a squirrel hole in it, or like a woodpecker hole in it, and we used it to support the joists there for the ceiling and the floor. People I got the kit from said you don't need to, but with the snow load and everything, I just wanted extra support. That's a Denali. Here's all getting the roofing on. That was fun in the rain on a 12-12 pitch. But getting it all dried in. Just kind of views out the windows. Alright, we're putting insulation up. It was cheaper to get the 16 wide insulation than 20 wide or 24 wide, so we just ran it at an angle and put it up. Some of it got wet, tarp broke. There's gas lamps put in, one upstairs and one downstairs. It runs off propane, so you don't need electricity for lighting. Propane stove. Got the insulation all the way in. And this is working on getting the catwalk and the stairway going in. Kind of a little landing up there. I want to keep it open so you don't feel closed in with a roof right above your head when you're sitting downstairs. So just doing the catwalk out of some logs that were out there, trimming them up, and then leftover 1x from the cabin kit. Alright, here just got some of the trim up around the window downstairs. Still need to do the trim on the windows upstairs. This is putting flooring in, just got some cheap flooring because, well, it's a cabin, doesn't need to be super fancy. That was actually fairly expensive stuff, but it's just left over from somebody else's project, and that stuff too. So I got it pretty cheap, but there wasn't enough to do either loft, so we ended up changing it around here, and not quite that one. Well, yeah, that one's the process of it. The darker stuff being moved to the front loft. And then we got some furniture in there. Got the gas fireplace in the cabin. Got some cabinets going in. And then here we actually put carpet in the back there instead. That's where all the beds and everything are going to be, and move that other stuff to the front because there wasn't enough to do the back one with the remnants I had from somebody else's project. Just a gas light on in the night, just kind of seeing how things are going. Got some recliners in there. That's my buddy that helped a lot. Got some more of the cabinets going in. Nice frosty view. And here I got the stairs in. It's all rough cut. It was cut out of a log. Cut it into thirds and then made steps out of it, and then just some 1x3 or 2x3s for a countertop for now. It's an entertainment center. It's all 12 volt. Everything in the cabin set to run on 12 volt. I do have plugs for 120 that'll run off the generator, or I have an inverter in it now, but I like to keep everything going off of the 12 volts. So right there I was routed out the walls and logs where the light switches are going to go. Just got switches out of that are meant for an RV. And yeah, there's a triple switch there for, you know, fan, front light, rear light. And I just used 110 lighting fixtures and then got 12 volt light bulbs that screw into them. Here's some steps that I picked up. Somebody was just selling some made steps, so I thought, hey, those will work pretty good for getting up on the deck instead of climbing up the cribs. And it's leaned a bit there, but I just kind of had it towed in for when the snow melted for it to settle down, and then we attached it a little better. After going out there for the first winter, I realized that gas fireplace took about 2 days for it to get comfortable in there. So we put in a wood stove, and now it only takes a couple hours to get it comfortable. And then the gas stove can just keep it to temp for the most part then, unless it's really cold out, the wind's blowing hard. And put a footer under the steps after all the snow melted, and you can see the Y to the left. That's actually for the wind turbine to charge the batteries. It vibrates a little bit when the wind's blowing really hard, but it's not bad. We got steps on the outhouse. And then I built a wood rack. Now I got a wood stove in there. And that's pretty much where she sits for right now. It's still got improvements going on here and there. I still need to finish doing some of the chinking. Need to get boards up on the ceiling and handrails for the stairway and the lofts and everything. But we'll keep going, and I need to actually do videos as I do improvements now. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day.